The cost of old grudges. How Brooke Lynn and Lulu's rivalry damaged the next generation. In the ever-evolving world of General Hospital, drama between characters is expected, even welcome. But sometimes, a storyline that could be used to explore maturity and forgiveness instead becomes a vehicle for regression, immaturity, and collateral damage. Such is the case with the long-standing feud between Brooke Lynn and Lulu, two women whose unresolved past continues to ripple forward with consequences neither of them can undo. At the center of this newly reignited firestorm lies a devastating revelation. Gio, the musically gifted teenager viewers have come to love, is the secret biological child of Brooke Lynn and Dante. A fact uncovered not through compassion or trust, but through bitterness and spite. And the fallout has been as tragic as it is telling. The history between Brooke Lynn and Lulu stretches back over a decade and a half. In their 20s, both women found themselves entangled in the gravitational pull of Dante Falconeri, a man who, whether he liked it or not, served as the battleground for their rivalry. Brooke Lynn, bold and brash, once attempted to seduce Dante away from Lulu, the woman he was deeply in love with at the time. For Lulu, the pain of betrayal wasn't only about a romantic threat, it was about the constant reminder that Brooke Lynn was never far from her orbit, always watching, always waiting, and always too close for comfort. So when Lulu awoke from her coma years later, viewers might have hoped that the time past would bring maturity, perspective, and healing. Instead, it brought a resurgence of old hostilities. Rather than seek peace, Lulu seemed to reawaken with a renewed obsession, digging into Brooke Lynn's past with alarming fervor. It wasn't just jealousy. It was personal, a crusade disguised as curiosity, determined to uncover something that might give her the upper hand. And she found it. The bombshell came when Lulu discovered that Brooke Lynn, as a teenager, had given a child up for adoption, a detail previously unknown to most. Her suspicions about the child's paternity led her to Dante, and her relentless snooping culminated in a catastrophic public reveal. At the hospital's annual nurses' ball, Gio himself overheard the shocking news of his parentage before either Dante or Brooke Lynn had a chance to tell him. The revelation sent a shockwave through the room, devastating Brooke Lynn, horrifying Dante, and shattering the foundation of Gio's identity. What should have been a deeply private matter, approached delicately, with care for the emotional well-being of all involved, was instead dragged into the spotlight in front of an entire town. Gio, blindsided, felt betrayed by everyone. By the mother who gave him up, the father who didn't know, and the people who exposed his origins like cheap gossip. Lulu, a mother of two herself, should have understood the emotional minefield she had wandered into. But consumed by rivalry, she seemed more interested in being right than being kind. Ironically, Brooke Lynn's response, while initially appearing noble, ended up being just as harmful. Humiliated and reeling from the loss of Gio's trust, she launched into her own destructive quest for vengeance. In a desperate attempt to hurt Lulu back, she began investigating the circumstances surrounding Rocco's birth, knowing full well how fragile the boy's sense of self already was. Though she ultimately chose not to act on her findings, fate had other plans. Rocco stumbled upon the hidden file himself, one that suggested Britt Westbourne was his biological mother. Confused and wounded, he confronted those he trusted, unsure of who he was or where he truly came from. For viewers, the symmetry was cruelly poetic. Both Gio and Rocco, innocent and unaware, became pawns in a war between two women too consumed with their past to protect the future. It was a sobering reminder that in Port Charles, secrets rarely stay buried, and when they do surface, it's rarely on the terms anyone would choose. What makes this storyline particularly disheartening is the way it reduces two capable, intelligent women into caricatures of their former selves. Motherhood, in theory, is meant to bring growth, sacrifice, and the ability to see beyond one's own pain. And yet, Brooke Lynn and Lulu's actions reflect none of these qualities. Their behavior, from passive-aggressive jabs to full-blown slaps, has made a mockery of maturity. At a time when their children needed stability, they delivered chaos. When asked to lead, they descended into petty rivalry. When given the chance to heal old wounds, they chose to reopen them. This is not to say that complex female characters can't be flawed, far from it. In fact, General Hospital has long excelled at presenting multidimensional women whose strengths and shortcomings define their stories. But in this instance, the writing leaned too heavily on outdated tropes: the jealous woman, the scheming mother, the emotional saboteur. The narrative missed an opportunity to explore themes of forgiveness, healing, and the power of shared motherhood in bridging divides. Instead, it turned two once-respected characters into emotional arsonists, lighting fires in the lives of those around them with little thought for the consequences. Gio and Rocco deserved better. They deserved honesty, patience, and the freedom to understand their identities without public spectacle or weaponized secrets. They deserved mothers who could rise above their past and make decisions rooted in love, not bitterness. And they deserved a community willing to put their well-being above recycled drama. As this storyline continues to unfold, there is still hope for redemption. Brooke Lynn, devastated by the impact of her choices, may find the strength to truly atone. Lulu, confronted with the ripple effects of her actions, might finally see the damage her fixation has caused. But such transformations can't come through shallow apologies or quick resolutions. They require introspection, accountability, and a willingness to let go of the past, something both women have struggled to do. The revelation about Gio's true parentage could have been a story about reunion, reconciliation, and unexpected love. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about how clinging to old grudges can poison the present and devastate the next generation. For the sake of Gio, Rocco, and everyone else caught in the crossfire, let's hope that the adults in their lives finally begin to act like it. Because the legacy of pain doesn't have to continue, but only if someone is brave enough to break the cycle. In the end, the greatest plot twist General Hospital could offer isn't another shocking secret or scandalous affair. It's growth, messy, difficult, and real. And if Lulu and Brooke Lynn ever hope to reclaim their dignity, they'll need to walk away from the battlefield and start building something better, not just for themselves, but for the sons who never asked to be part of their war.